The next tools to show you is how to actually edit these features and begin to change the data itself. So I'm going to open up this, and I'm actually going to add my stream data back in here, or my Thornton streams here. Let's actually remove those. I'm going to hit OK. And so one thing that I notice, I'm going to open up the attribute table. I'm going to scroll over, and I'm going to notice for some reason that my lengths here are, some of them are off a bit, or they have 0. And so I actually want to make sure that this is correct. So what we can do actually, and we can edit data in many different ways. And so here we have this, and I want to check to make sure that all my lengths are right. So what we can do is that we can actually edit and find out certain specific data about all these feature classes. Each feature class. So what I'm just going to do is I'm going to add a new field. So what I did, I just went up here, clicked, added a new field, brings up this dialog box. Now I'm going to type in length _01, and I'm going to choose a type, double. Since this is a number, I will always use a double. If this was going to be a text field, I would then use text. And so really sticking to double or text is ideal. So I'm going to just hit OK. So what you see immediately is that a new length field becomes available. If the add field option is not available, try exporting that data into its own shapefile and then trying this process. So what we can do is we can right click this and actually come down here and calculate geometry. It's going to let me know that I'm outside of an editing session, and that if I make this change, that this change will be permanent to this data. And so for us, all this is grayed out, which is fine, and we just want to make click here length. Hit OK. It's going to let me know once again that this is permanent. I'm just going to hit OK. And now what it does, it actually updated us with all the proper lengths of that data. As you can see, some of them are the same because they were existing, but some of them were not. And so now we have the lengths of all the entire line segments within our map. We can right click this. We can actually do a summarize. Actually, we're actually going to want to do a statistics here. And this will actually give us how many features there are, minimum, actual value, maximum value, and then it will actually give us the sum, which then would be the entire length of our stream in square feet and feet, since we're actually dealing with linear units. And so then we could come in here and open up our attributes table for this field and do the same thing. And as you can see, we can actually, it already has its length field, and we can actually do this to an existing field as well. So the length field is already here. I can right click, go calculate geometry. It's going to give me that same warning. Hit OK, the warning once again, and then calculate. And these were already right, so we can then once again right click, statistics, and we can get that distance. And so if we then can compare the two to understand actually how much of the stream is actually in a culvert compared to actually how much is not in the culvert. So that's one way of editing data within the attribute table. We could have also done different types of, so I'm going to open this again. Actually, I'm going to opening up our buildings use data set. So within here, what we have is we have the area of the building located here, because this actually came from the buildings layer. We also have the size of the lot square foot based on its land use and its zoning. And we also can get the area of each parcel if we would have actually done that before we combined. Actually, this is the area of each one of those parcels here in a more exact option. So we have the area of the building, then we have the area of the parcel. And so we can actually start understanding how much free land is available on that piece of property. So once again, I'm going to go add field. We're going to make it a double once again, and we're going to go open land. Then hit OK. But now instead of choosing calculate geometry, we're going to use the field calculator, and it's going to give us that same warning again. And here, what we're going to want to do is so area 1 was the area of the parcel, so we can click that, and we can then actually write an equation here. So open land equals area 1 minus the area of the building. And so once we hit OK, it then will actually create that value for us. We could also then, if we wanted to, put this in parentheses. And so we can get this, and then we could divide by the total area, or area 1, and times that by 100 to actually get the percent of the lot that's still open. So I'm going to hit OK. It's going to calculate this. So now we actually get to see all the parcels where that building, how much land is actually available based on that actual parcel size. And so there's many elements in which you can do here, different types of analysis that can occur in order to get the data that you want based on just manipulating the attributes within the attributes table. The other option we have is to actually enter an editing session. So I'm going to open the tools, go down to editor, turn this on. The warning symbol allowed us to know that we weren't in an editing session when we were doing that. And so we can actually start an editing session here. So in order to edit all the geometry and all values within the data, we have to be within an editing session. Those functions will actually allow you to do it outside of an editing session, but other elements will not. And so within an editing session, we are able to manipulate objects. So I started my editing session, and some of you might let you know that you won't be able to edit certain items. It could be because they're saved in different locations on your folder, and letting you know that you won't be able to edit them because of that. And so this is why it's a good idea to have everything saved into one folder, because then you won't run into any of those issues. And so so now when I open up the editor toolbar, you can see now it's about save edits or stop edits. And I can have my main clicker chosen. I'm going to actually click this last one, which is called the create features toolbar. And as you can see, these are the tools or the layers in which I can currently select. So I'm going to zoom in. I'm just going to double click on this, and immediately control handles come on, and so I can actually begin to edit this shape. So if for some reason the building wasn't shaped like this, I could change that, and once I'm done, I can click away. So I'm going to come down here. I'm actually going to double click on this building because I see that here that it actually is a different kind of design. And so we can actually hover over elements. I can right click and I can insert points as well along this line. So I can insert one here so that way I can drag this up. And now once I click out, the shape is changed. I can then also click on items and delete them if their objects are no longer in the image. And so none of this is permanent until I save the edits, and then, so I can then save these edits if I'm happy with them. And then I have to then stop editing. And so now those changes are permanent.